republic if we could keep it. He said, I could continue to live my life and vote, and when the time comes, continue to be angry at the results. The difference is that I sense a real shift in the political air, and the battle lines are being drawn. Real changes are coming, and all that is needed for evil to prevail is for good men to stand by and do nothing. Not perfect quote, but close enough. So my question to you is this: where and how do I start? Municipal, state, county, federal? I heard there were some sort of one-day classes in Olympia that give an understanding of political mechanisms, how they function in our state. Do you know anything about that?
$1 million, that seems like a lot of money until their co-star got paid $11 million. You look at the Wonder Woman story that we had here. She's carrying the film, the Wonder Woman, and yet she gets paid less than the other guys that are doing the exact same.
So what a lot of these schools would tell you is, well, let's say that we have 22 programs at our school. Typically, the only program that makes money is the football program and the male basketball program. All the other programs are losers. The way that they pay for those programs is with football and basketball.
Yeah, that's not the fault of the young men playing.
So they'll be like, hey, if we start paying these football players, then do we have to pay the girls that play basketball?
If the girls' basketball team has whatever their television contract is, then that's the budget. The same way the WNBA works. The WNBA players don't make the same as the NBA players because their television contract.
So my point, you haven't answered though. So what if your program's a loser?
Then you don't get to pay the players,
or you don't get to have that program,
or you don't get to have the program.
Because that's what would happen. A lot of programs out there would go.
It's hypocritical to take a kid out of Georgia who has some game-worn gear that's going to sell for $860. This kid from Georgia, and he loses the ability to play in the game. When meanwhile, the Crimson Tide Booster Club can just pay off Saban's mortgage. Like, how is that fair in anybody's universe? It really chaps my hide to watch this. And these guys put their bodies on the line. Many of them will not make it to the NFL payday. And I'm sorry, but just a scholarship in comparison to the billions of dollars that the NCAA made is not enough.
Good stuff, Ron. Yeah, that football game's on TV tonight. Do you know the Beastquake? Marshawn Lynch is 7 years old today.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. I was there for that one. I hope I enjoyed it.
Why would you not enjoy it?
Well,
is your memory going to?
Not going to be any Beastquakes for an awful long time, I don't think. Just run it down to Cow Radio.
Next Monday, the 15th interstate, was announced by the Senate Law and Justice Committee. Here's some of the things that are coming up, and I'll post this on the Facebook page so everybody can keep track. A House bill that would prohibit all possession, purchase, sale, or transfer of semi-automatic rifle and ammunition magazines holding 10 or more rounds. The Democrats know exactly how many rounds you're going to need. Another bill by Lori Jenkins, who's in fact insane, from Tacoma area, Pierce County area, would impose a registration system for commonly owned semi-automatic rifles holding 10 rounds or more. Yeah, I'm not going to register my weapons with you, Lori. Not ever. I'm never going to tell you I have any, or which ones I have. One would require you to lock up your firearms or face a Class C felony charge. My firearms are locked up in my safe. I won't tell you which ones I own. But when I come home, I will unlock my safe. I will take out 2 firearms for 2 very specific tactical reasons, then have them available in my home. That's what I do, and you're not going to stop me. Another one would make it a crime to knowingly possess a firearm accessory that's designed to accelerate the rate of fire, bump stocks. Then another one that would ban magazines holding 10 or more rounds, ban the possession or sale. Yep, they're going to try this. Yep, they're going to try to push this through. But understand something. Our state has lots and lots and lots of rural areas. They're not going to have a tremendous amount of luck with this. Not at all. And we'll just have to keep the pressure on. So the 15th is when the public meeting rolls around. From Twitter, Herman, did you just say you're a black woman? You're the most callous, disgusting trash I've ever heard. Yeah. I see here, this is from someone I went and read their timeline. It's from someone who supports so-called trans rights. And no, I'm not going to say your name. I'm not going to promote your Twitter channel. Do you see what I just told that person to do? All I did was call myself a black woman. There you go. They cannot debate their position. Cannot be done. We'll come back on the Todd Herman Show. Much more to get to on a local basis. The Stranger is convinced that the Democrats are just in it to screw Sound Transit. Truly, Tell you about that when we continue.
If you have type 2 diabetes, you may think that a lifetime of medication is your only
up roofing and contracting company, and
sounds like a man. I did the same thing after I did all those restaurants.
without medication. At 2020 Lifestyles, we don't just treat type 2 diabetes.
With a warranty and save you money. More information and phone number at generaltransmission.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Richards, and I'm certified financial planner Andy Smith. We're the co-hosts of Financial Engine's Investing Sense. This past weekend on the show, we tackled your biggest question. The Dow Jones returned 23% through early December, so what should I do now? If you invested last year, congratulations, but do not become complacent because now's the time to adjust your portfolio and protect those returns. Sadly, almost half of Americans missed out. So whether you're already invested or if you need a way to get into the market, you gotta have a plan to get from where you are today to where you want to be in retirement. Look, we're going to make this painless for you. Get to financialengines.com, click on the free portfolio review button, or call Financial Engines, 800-309-6933. We'll analyze your investments and give you recommendations for this year at no cost. So leave your checkbook and credit cards at home. This free offer ends at 10 p.m. Tuesday, January 9th. So please call Financial Engines today at 800-309-6933. That's 800-309-6933.
Well, as an aging athlete myself and somebody who coached high school sports for 10 years, I've really come to appreciate great physical therapists. And that's why I'm so happy to get to know Shannon O'Kelly, the president of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. I love how convenient you are. First of all, Shannon, you have 40 locations all around the Puget Sound area.
Yeah, we like to say we're in your neighborhood. But not only are we in your neighborhood, we've got you covered, we also have you covered from services. And we have diverse services. We do women's health, fall, balance, vestibular. So we can take care of the whole body, the whole person. And ultimately, our goal is to let all of our patients be their best self.
Yeah, and with all of those things that you offer, almost any physical therapy need that you have, IRG has you covered. What you need to do is just find the location nearest you. As I said, 40 locations all around the Puget Sound area. Just go to irgpt.com and find your neighborhood IRG Physical Therapy Clinic. That's irgpt.com.
Or find them online at QMortgage.com, CL53969.
Fred Meyer makes it easy to enjoy real food with Simple Truth and Simple Truth Organic. Delicious and affordable. Find Simple Truth at Fred Meyer.
Presented by Buffalo Wild Wings.
I'm Pam Coulter. President Trump says he's already delivered for the forgotten men and women of America, and that includes the nation's farmers. CBS's Stephen Portnoy reports.
Oh, are you happy you voted for me?
Speaking to the American Farm Bureau, the president called a vote for him a privilege.
The other choice wasn't going to work out too well for the farmers, I hate to.
Mr. Trump hailed the passage of his tax bill, and in particular, the way it raises the estate tax exemption.
So you can keep your farms in the family.
He signed an executive order to expand broadband to more rural areas. He urged new users to look him up on Twitter.
It's our only way around the media. Fake media.
Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, the White House.
Later in Georgia, the president signed a bill to create a national historic park in Atlanta honoring Martin Luther King Jr. The team of investigators looking into possible Trump campaign collusion with Russia is interested in talking to President Trump, and it's come up in recent discussions between special counsel Robert Mueller's team and Trump lawyers. CBS's Major Garrett has more.
They are sort of fencing about the obligations of the president and what kind of questions Robert Mueller and his team might present. And there are conversations about whether this will be in person, whether they'll be written.
The flu is hitting hard, with 46 states reporting widespread influenza cases. CBS News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. John LaPook.
California is one of the 26 states reporting high flu activity. In San Diego County, they have more than 7,000 confirmed cases, and that is more than 8 times the number seen this time last year.
Estimates on the effectiveness of the flu vaccine range from 10 to 30%. Another side effect of the frigid weather, a big drop in blood donations.
The Red Cross says more than 150 blood drives have already been canceled this month because of the severe winter weather. There's such an urgent need. The Red Cross has been texting regular blood donors like George Gates.
They still and always have the need for donations, but I think the weather's making it even more important and more necessary.
There were some 28,000 fewer blood and platelet donations that were needed in November and December nationwide. Jim Crisula, CBS News, Greensboro, North Carolina.
Everything from a snowstorm to a burst water pipe stranded travelers for days at New York's Kennedy Airport. Port Authority head Rick Cotton.
We intend to identify what went wrong, why it went wrong, where there were failures of communication, where there were failures of coordination, and we intend to fix it.
The Dow fell 12 points today. NASDAQ was up 20. This is CBS News.
Presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Find a location at BuffaloWildWings.com.
KIRO-FM, Tacoma, Seattle.
After an all-day manhunt for a cop killer, folks in Pierce County should rest a little easier tonight.
Our detectives spent the whole day tying evidence to him to identify him as the second suspect.
I'll have the latest coming up at First Cairo Radio, real-time traffic.
It's going to take you about 52 minutes from Bellevue into Everett. The heaviest traffic lying right into Kirkland. Once again, as we get past Totem Lake towards the county line, and you're hitting the brakes once again after Route 527 up to the Alderwood interchange. We got a new wreck on 18 westbound at 221st. That's taking up the right lane. Heavy traffic on westbound 520 off the water, eastbound 90 off of Mercer Island, southbound on the Valley Freeway as you get into Kent, and your northbound 5 drive still pretty busy from just after Lake City Way, most of the way into parts of South Everett. Traffic brought to you by Muckleshoot Bingo. Breakfast Bingo is Muckleshoot Bingo's special morning session that's perfect for beginners or pros. Breakfast Bingo, 9:30 Saturday at Muckleshoot Bingo. Cairo Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Tracy Taylor.
Cairo Radio News, 97.3 FM.
Pierce County Sheriff's deputy shot and killed as he responded to a burglary in progress last night. Now an arrest has been made. A 32-year-old man stopped at a checkpoint several blocks from the scene of the crime.
After we started talking to him, he was booked on felony warrants out of Shelton. After he's booked into the jail, we started to get information on what our second suspect actually looked like by witnesses, which described our suspect.
The man's expected to be in court to face a charge of first-degree murder tomorrow. Meantime, the community is coming together to honor the fallen deputy and support the young family that he is leaving behind. Cairo Radio's Hannah Scott has that part of the story.
The 34-year-old McCartney had been with the Pierce County Sheriff's Office for 3 years. Before that, he was a 6-year veteran of the Hope William Police Department, and his mother wanted to make sure everyone knew he was also a proud Navy veteran. McCartney was also a husband and a father of 3 young boys. Sheriff's Office says those boys were 9, 6, and 4 years old.
You can find more information about a fund set up for the McCartney family at mynorthwest.com. A man wearing a mask from an action movie is accused of robbing 2 gas stations in Monroe. The Herald reports the thief hit early Sunday and was wearing a mask from the movie V is for Vendetta. No one was hurt, but that robber's still on the run. 2 men arrested at SeaTac for trying to bring guns through security. And the TSA's Lori Danker says we're not alone.
It has become a problem nationwide. This is not unique to SeaTac Airport. We anticipate that in 2017, TSA officers will have discovered a record number of firearms. And I can tell you, every year that number goes up.
1 man was arrested yesterday with a handgun and 50 rounds of ammo. This morning, another man had a pistol in his carry-on luggage. A look at your forecast now. We're going to see the rain returning tonight and overnight. Hopefully it's going to clear out by about midday tomorrow for most of us. Highs will be in the mid-40s. Right now it's 49 degrees in Seattle. I'm Kim Shepard.
On demand with the Cairo Radio app. Cairo Radio News, 97.3 FM. This is the Ron and Don Show on Cairo Radio, 97.3 FM, Seattle's Seahawks station.
All right, here we come with tonight's Top 5 at 5. We'll get the top 5 news stories according to us in the day. It's brought to you by Pacific Ridge Homes and D.R. Horton Company. Hey, someone's going to win 2 tickets to see Rod Stewart with special guest Cyndi Lauper. That'll be a good show. White River Amphitheater, September 1st. Tickets go on sale this Friday at Ticketmaster.com. I saw him a number of years ago with my friend Janine, and he was pretty awesome, actually. So make sure you check out that show. Why wouldn't you? Hey, don't forget, I'll give you a code word, and then you head to our show page, The Ron and Don Show on Cairo Radio. It's The Ron and Don Show on Cairo Radio. Fill in the code word. I'll give you the code word here in the next 20 minutes.
Ron
Ron and Don's Top 5 Bet 5.
Number 1.
All right, join us right now live on Kyle Radio, a friend of the show and a friend of kids, a friend of cops because he's a cop. He's the PIO of Pierce County, and he is Detective Ed Troyer to tell us about a deputy that they lost over the weekend. Ed, thank you so much for stopping by. We are sorry for your loss. Tell us what happened to Deputy Daniel McCartney.
Well, 11:30 last night, he responded to a call of a residential burglary in progress. And when he got there, just happened to get there pretty quick, within 6 minutes. And when he got there, the suspects were fleeing, 2 of them. And so he did what every good officer in this state would do and would give foot chase and make sure and try and catch these guys. He did. A couple minutes after he took off after him, we had reports of shots fired. Our next deputy that got there determined that he wasn't in the area, went looking for him and found him, and he was on the ground with a gunshot wound, and so was the suspect. And we knew we had 2 suspects, so we had 1 loose in the area. Medical aid and our other deputies showed up, and the 1 suspect was deceased at the scene. They took our deputy and transported him to St. Joe's Hospital, where they were waiting for him. They brought him in for surgery, and unfortunately his wound was just too catastrophic, and he passed away.
So, we have the 1 suspect who has passed away. We lost his deputy. It appears like there was a gunfight, right?
Yeah, there was a gunfight. We recovered 2 weapons. We have his weapon and him, and then we have 2 other weapons at the scene and only 1 suspect. So we had a suspect that was out on the loose that we believe we had contained with multiple agencies in a wooded area. Turns out this morning around 8 o'clock, an Orange State Trooper found somebody and put him into custody. Didn't match the description at the time, and through the day we started getting a different description of the suspect, which matched the guy that we had in custody for what we thought was something different for felony warrants. And our detectives did a good job today of doing a lot of legwork and putting enough information together to tie him to the residential robbery and the shooting of our deputy. And so about 4 o'clock this afternoon, we booked him for murder in the 1st degree.
Yeah. So they just found him on the side of the road somewhere?
Well, he was far away from where the incident occurred, but a state trooper guarding an intersection, making sure that nobody got hurt or came into the scene, saw him out in the bushes and was able to go contact him with 1 of our guys, and they brought him up and determined that he lied about his name and he had warrants out of Shelton and other things that weren't quite right. So we ended up booking him in jail this morning on those warrants, and then it turned out through the day we were able to tie him to the murder.
All right, he's Ed Troyer. He's the Public Information Officer for Pierce County Sheriff. Ed, is it pretty common to get the physical description just wrong and then it sort of evolves as time goes on?
Yeah, because our physical descriptions come through witnesses. They come through witnesses that tell us, so we got to rely on that. It turns out he was wearing a black hoodie with a black ski mask type stocking cap over his face, and so the original people that saw him thought he was a black male. And then as we do more interviews, people that saw him up close said no, he was a white guy. So we correctly changed it to a white male this morning, and that was the same as the guy we put in jail, and started matching the description even more. And so we were able to take our teams of detectives and put enough evidence together to tie him to the shooting, and we booked him into the jail.
No. My understanding is this house...
This is really sad. This is a really good guy. I mean, this guy is the guy this guy that was killed, 34 years old, married. He has 3 boys, 4, 6, and 9. Navy veteran, 6 years, Hope William, police officer, wanted to come work for a bigger department. All his buddies supported him in Hope William, and now he's out here, and he was going on his 4th year with us.
Yeah. I know that a legacy fund has been set up for the family. Tell us about that.
Well, anybody, we wanted to start something really quick before anybody got up with any of those GoFundMe pages or anything. So anybody can go to Tapco Credit Union and anywhere in Pierce County or mail a check in to a legacy fund for him, or go to our Crime Stoppers website. We have a way to donate with a credit card or PayPal or any of that up there. same system we used for Jake Gutierrez from Como Police Department when he passed away, to raise money, because these things are expensive, and he's going to have a wife with 3 boys left behind, and so a lot of people want to help, and we appreciate it, and so we've given them a couple ways that they can help us out.
Ed, I can tell you're shaken up by this one. Why is this one hitting you so hard?
We've all been up all night long, and plus we're standing in the rain. I'm standing right here next to the sheriff, and we've been, we just wanted to make sure that we let the community know that there's nothing to worry about. We have the 2 suspects in custody. Obviously, they presented a danger, because anybody who's going to break into a residence armed, with people in it, and then run from the police and then have a gun battle with the police, probably isn't going to care about any other human life. So we really made it a priority all night long and all day today to get this guy off the streets, and we're just happy we were able to do that. And they're good work. They're multiple agencies and a lot of help from a lot of people, and so even the public was so gracious with us over closed roads the last couple of days. We didn't have any problems at all. People knew they had to go different ways to work, and they did, and accommodated us. So it was very nice for everybody involved.
And why are they interested in that house? Because that house is known to Pierce County Sheriff's Department, right?
Yeah, now that we've done some background on the house, we've been there before, which isn't a big surprise, and we're doing the background on some of those people there. We don't know what all goes on that house, but within a couple days we will know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got a little bit of a cough too.
No problem. Tell us one more.
Yeah.
Tell us one more time about the account.
Well, it's Daniel's Legacy Fund, Deputy Daniel McCartney's Legacy Fund. That's what it's called. It's at any TAPCO credit union if you want to walk in, or you can go to Tacoma Police Station or the Sheriff's Department if you want to drop off a check, or you can go to our Crime Stoppers website, which is tpcrimestoppers.com, and his picture will be up there, and you can donate with PayPal or a credit card or however you want to pay.
Yeah. Wow. My final question for you. People always say, and this is because we watch TV and everybody waits for backup, and they'll say, well, why didn't your sheriff wait for backup in this instance?
Well, you can't. Sometimes backup's not coming. This is a guy that works pretty rural,
right?
And he got there in 6 minutes, and it's manpower, and it's just what we do. The suspects were running when he got there, and he was the first one there. He was going to wait for backup. They were going to run off into the woods, and we wouldn't have found them. So he went after him, just like everybody in the state in our job would do, and that's just how it is. That's what we sign up for. That's what we do. That's what our guys do. And I'll tell you, there's a whole bunch of guys sitting up right now out here at the precinct where I'm at in South Hill. People are dropping off cards, balloons, candles, and they're sitting up right now just to go do the same thing. And if the same exact call came in again, they would be out there doing the same exact thing again tonight.
When will there be a celebration of Deputy Daniel McCartney's life?
We have the Behind the Badge Foundation working with us right now. They're the ones that are unfortunately have the honor of putting these funerals together, but they do a great job, and they're working with us, and we should probably have some answers tomorrow on when that'll occur. But I know that tomorrow, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, is the tentative time that we plan on escorting him from the medical examiner's office to the funeral home. And that's been delayed because he's actually also an organ donor, and the organ donor company's coming in tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock to, I know this sounds a little out there, but to harvest his usable organs, because that's the type of guy he was. And then we'll be transporting him to Mountain View Funeral Home, and the public is more welcome to come to the cemetery when he arrives tomorrow. And we'll be using the medical crew that did the transport, the ambulance that did the transport, that transported him to the hospital. That's how we usually do it. And those guys will use the same rig and the same guys that did the transport to the hospital, and they'll transport his body out to the funeral home.
A little 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a wife. Is that what you said?
Correct. 4, 6, 9. A wife, and a lot of good friends, and a lot of good cop buddies, and a good friend of community and the public.
Yeah. And anything else you want to add to the story? And again, we sorry for your loss.
And a lot of people are following it, and everybody that's out there that lives out here, just know that there's nobody out there we're looking for at this time right now. and rest easy, and we appreciate all their help.
There we go. Detective Ed Troyer from the Pierce County Sheriff's Department. If you want to be a part of something bigger than yourself, and that will let you get back to work, we appreciate you. That fund is up right now on our Facebook page, right?
Yeah, tpcrimestoppers.com.
Follow up on the Amazon HQ2 if you've heard of that, but we're doing our own version of it. So going to Pittsburgh next month.
Hey, you weren't that good again this time, but you were better than last time.
A bit racist to say, we kind of like our culture the way it is. It doesn't mean we don't respect yours. It doesn't mean that we can't look at the things you do, and some of them say they're absolutely beautiful. It doesn't mean that when you come here in controlled numbers that we expect you to jettison who you are. Far from it. But we are also not going to jettison who we are. There is a reason for assimilation. Listen to this quote from this Aras Bako, as I said, writing in Der Freitag in the Huffington Post, Deutschland. He says that German immigrants are fed up, angry. He described Germans as unemployed racists who insult and agitate. He added, and I quote, "We refugees do not want to live in the same country with you. You can, and I think you should, leave Germany. Germany does not fit you. Why do you live here? Look for a new home." An 18-year-old refugee from Germany. Now, he's not a spokesperson for all refugees. He's a spokesperson for far too many. When you import people in massive numbers, not because they want to join your culture, not because they seek your freedoms, not because they seek your way of life, but they seek to live their way of life in an area that has not yet been ruined by the way of life they're fleeing. You are importing the problems. It is not kind to them. It is not kind to you. Here's more from this article. In 2008, the now so-called president of Turkey, Erdogan, told 20,000 Turks living in Europe that assimilation would be, and I quote, a crime against humanity. Say again. This is the president of Turkey speaking to Turks living in Europe. Assimilation would be a crime against humanity. Instead of assimilating, continue to live separately so you can create a constitutional challenge to the local governments. In Sweden, in 2006, Sweden's prime minister said in the face of the fact that 60 to 80% of people in Europe are against and have been, were, and are now against the immigration trend lines, said, and I will quote directly, "Only barbarism is genuinely Swedish. All further development has been brought from outside." This is cultural suicide. Only barbarism is Swedish, this according to the Prime Minister. It's blindness and it's cultural suicide. When you import people in massive numbers, with no selection, with no reason for them to come beyond wanting to leave war, that was in part started by elements of their culture fighting other elements of their culture in areas war-torn through tribalism, which has been an unfortunate side effect of parts of this culture, the tribalism. That's not settled, and it's not going to be settled. They are not coming to assimilate and are being told by their leaders, don't you dare assimilate. Don't you dare become German or Swedish. Remain Turks while you're in these countries. The author of the book, of which this is a review in the American Conservative, Douglas Murray, spoke of attending a conference of academics in Germany to discuss Europe's relations to the Middle East and North Africa. Okay, so he went there to seek solution with fellow academics. He writes, "It soon became clear that nothing could be learned because nothing could be said. Relevant words were immediately flagged and disputed. Such words included nation, history, and the mother of all wrong-headedness, culture, which most participants believed had too many different connotations and disagreement around its use to be able to use." So he sums up this way. Europeans are being blamed for what is happening to them or denied any legitimate way to object, then the views of the majority are made to appear not just dangerous but martial. Now, what the president is doing here is painful. The El Salvadorans, they were sold a bill of goods by Barack Obama and others. You can stay in the country temporarily. 10 years. 10 years. If we cannot get a handle on getting back to selective, smart immigration, where we pick people who crave our culture, our Bill of Rights, want to come and join us while bringing elements of themselves and their beauty, we're lost. There's a reason why Trump won, and I continue to think that the wall was a major part of it, as was immigration. We'll come back on the Todd Herman Show and wrap things up with a personal note. Right now, check traffic from Right Way Traffic, brought to you by the Online Trading Academy.
A very slow drive out of Bellevue. It's going to take you 80 minutes to reach Everett on I-405 and I-5. Crash northbound 405 just after 195, still blocking the right lane there. Better news in Linwood. The one crash northbound I-5 at 164th. That's been cleaned up. Now we do have a crash eastbound 16 near Union Avenue. Again, several cars are blocking the right lane. Do have a new accident as well, eastbound 512 at Steele. Just watch out if you're traveling out that way. You're listening to AM 770 KTTH.
Seattle's own Michael Neddick.
Michelle Goldberg, she was on with Chris Hayes on MSNBC.
They're essentially stealing from the rest of us, stealing from the majority of the country.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
This is stealing? Really? How is it ever stealing to allow people to keep more of their own money?
On AM 770 KTTH.
The federal government doesn't make money, it takes money. And now the federal government's going to be taking a little bit less. That's a good thing. It's something worth.
It's all about science. They're going to break down your individual body composition and figure out what is right for you. It is not a one-size-fits-all thing. It's also not a fad diet. Aviva is all about sustainability and keeping the weight off healthfully. So call Aviva today at 425-970-9533 for a consultation with a specialist, or go to avivamd.com. That's EVIVAMD.com.
Ron and Don's Top 5 Bet 5.
Number 4.
All right, the President of the United States is attending the National Football Championship game tonight in Atlanta. He walked out with some service members to do the national anthem sung by the Zach Brown Band.
I love
earlier.
Zach Brown Band.
Yeah, they sounded, I didn't see them, but they looked good. I don't know if they sounded good or not.
No.
And of course, over the weekend, the President tweeted out that he is actually a stable genius, and that his mental health should not be questioned because of his genius status. And Trump explained to reporters why he tweeted about his mental state.
But this morning you were tweeting about your mental state. Why did you feel the need to tweet about that this morning?
Well, only because I went to the best colleges for college. I went to I had a situation where I was a very excellent student, came out, made billions and billions of dollars, became one of the top business people. Went to television and for 10 years was a tremendous success, as you probably have heard. Ran for president one time and won.
Yeah, it's all true. Isn't that true? Is there anything in that that's not true?
Technically, I don't know. Some people have questioned whether or not he really is a legit billionaire, or if he inflates. Like, he has said that the number of billions of dollars he has on any given day fluctuate on how he feels his brand is valued that day. So he could wake up one day and say, I feel like the Trump brand today is worth $3 billion. And then the next day, he might feel like the Trump brand is worth